everyone, I'm Samyo Hangma Rai and today we're going to study the chapter titled Cabbage White of Grade 10. So let's begin.
Cabbage White. Sarah and Jamie stood on their tiptoe and gave the card from their school to the tall man behind the counter of a farm. The man frowned and made a face. "So you're looking for some work, and who are you?" "I'm Sarah. I'm 12. This is my brother Jamie. He's 11. Shouldn't you be at school? We are on holiday and would like to earn some money and support our parents." The man lifted his hat and scratched his head. "Working in the farm is a quite tough job for kids like you. I need somebody big and strong to work here," he said. "There must be some work for us in this big farm. Could you please find one?" Sarah pleaded. "And right, let's see. Do you know what a cabbage white is?" the man asked. "Yes, it's a beautiful white butterfly that lays its eggs on cabbages, and those eggs change into caterpillars," answered Sarah. "And do you know what the caterpillars do?" "They eat the cabbage leaves," shouted Jamie. "Aren't you afraid of caterpillars?" asked the man. "Not at all," retorted Sarah. "All right, so I think I have a job for you." "Oh, thank you very much. And what is the work?" they said. "I want you to check every single cabbage in the garden and eliminate all the caterpillars," replied the man. How?" wondered Jamie. "You pick them off and collect them. Is it all right if we collect them in one of these pails?" "All right. How much will you pay us?" Sarah asked. "Let me see how you get on first. If I'm happy with your work, I'll not disappoint you with the pay. I'll be in the greenhouse, get started, and I'll see you later." Shortly, armed with a pail each, the children approached the cabbage patch. It was so enormous. "There must be 1,000,000 cabbages here," Jamie said. "At least," Sarah said. "And if there are 10 caterpillars on each cabbage, that makes there 1,000,000,000 caterpillars." Sarah stood open-mouthed. The job looked really tough. Jamie wondered about her arithmetic, but knew better than to dispute. They started on the first row of cabbages. It was a really hideous job. The caterpillars wriggled as they were picked up. It took the two children ages to finish the first row, and already they couldn't see the bottom of their buckets for caterpillars. And all around them, the air was filled with cabbage white butterflies. The insects seemed to be mocking them. They seemed to be saying, "We don't care if you kill our caterpillars. We can lay millions of eggs." Sarah and Jamie were now very desperate. Sarah struck out at a butterfly. She missed, of course. She watched it fly gaily away. Then she had an idea as brilliant in its way as Einstein coming up with E equals to mc squared. "Jamie, caterpillars come from eggs, right?" He nodded at her remarks. "And where do eggs come from?" she inquired further. "The butterflies lay them." "Right, so," she reasoned, "if we get rid of the butterflies, there won't be any more eggs or caterpillars." "Right," Jamie agreed. "So why don't we get rid of the butterflies?" "How?" he asked. Nearby, there were beans climbing up bamboo poles. Sarah removed 2 poles. 2 bean plants died. She handed one of the poles to Jamie and then rushed into the cabbage patch, swinging her pole round and round, trying to hit the butterflies. This seemed to Jamie like a good game, so he followed her. Easy to hit flying butterflies, but it is not difficult to hit them when they settle on cabbages. Soon the ground was covered with dead butterflies. Sarah and Jamie fought on until they were completely exhausted. Then they stood back to admire their work. There were hardly any butterflies left. There were hardly any cabbages left either. It is difficult to hit a butterfly on a cabbage without hitting the cabbage too. The cabbage patch looked like a battlefield. Not a cabbage was left standing. The children looked at each other. Without a word, they put down the bamboo poles and tiptoed out of the garden. "He knows our names," Jamie said. "But he does not know where we live," Sarah said. "Thank goodness," they both said. Adapted from Happy Days and Short Stories by Jake Alsop. A. To laugh at somebody in an unkind way. Mock. B. Very unpleasant. Hideous. C. To twist and turn body or part of it with quick, short movements. Wriggle. D. In a cheerful way. Gaily. E. Very surprised or shocked. Open-mouthed. F. To ask for something in a serious and emotional way. Plead. G. To make a facial expression indicating disapproval. Frown. H. To argue or disagree strongly with somebody. Okay, number B. Consult a dictionary and find the meanings of the following words related to walking. Sneak. To move in a quiet manner. Stroll, to walk leisurely, usually for pleasure or exercise. Stagger, to walk unsteadily as if about to fall. Lurch, make an abrupt, unsteady movement. Stride, to walk with long steps in a confident or purposeful manner. Stumble, to trip or lose one's balance while walking. Number C, answer the following questions. A. Why do you think the man frowned his face when Sarah and Jamie gave him their school card? The man frowned his face when Sarah and Jamie gave him their card because they were looking for work and they were young. D. Read the story and write true for true statements and false for false ones. If the information is not given in the text, write not given. A. Sarah and Jamie's parents were unable to work to support the family. Not given. B. Sarah and Jamie have never been to school. False. C. The man decides to pay them upon the completion of their work. True. D. Sarah and Jamie had not expected to find so many caterpillars in the cabbage field. True. E. Sarah's idea finally worked to finish off their job. F. They were caught by the farm owner while running away. False. Sarah and Jamie were in search of a job instead of going to school as they were on a holiday and wanted to earn some money to support their parents. C. Why was the man ready to give them work in his farm? The man was ready to give them work on his farm so that they could get rid of the caterpillars. D. What work are they supposed to do at the man's farm? They were assigned to examine every cabbage, pick off the caterpillars, and collect them in a pail. E. Were there really millions or billions caterpillars in the cabbage field? If not, what do Sarah and Jamie mean by a million or billion caterpillars? No, there weren't a billion or million caterpillars in the cabbage field. The children were exaggerating considering the amount of work they have to put in and the large area of the cabbage patch. F. What were Sarah and Jamie desperate about? Sarah and Jamie were desperate about removing the caterpillars from the cabbages because the task was much more difficult than expected. Homework. If you have any feedback or suggestions, please feel free to reach out to us at learning@dearwalk.edu.np. See you in the next class. Thank you.